Hi there, I'm Tom Pepperkamp, a platform product owner. That's right, platforms should be treated as products. Platform engineering is a new and rapidly evolving field. To help you navigate this space, I've created a video series that dives into the why, what, and how of platform engineering. This series pulls together insights from top quality public resources, organizing them into focused topics to create a crash course in platform engineering. Each video is curated to support your platform engineering journey, offering practical knowledge and insights to deepen your understanding of its principles and potential. Let's get started. Throughout my talk, I'll be referencing content from leading voices in our industry. A big shout out to these rock stars for their amazing blogs and conference talks. You'll find all the sources listed at the end of the video. These references aren't just for ethics, they're packed with valuable insights that I highly recommend exploring. So, if you enjoy this video, definitely check them out and dive deeper. Alright, let's talk about direction. Without a clear idea of where you're going, even the best team can feel lost at sea. Are you looking to shorten your time to market, deliver more value with each release, or maybe just bring a little sanity to your development cycles? In this video, from product vision to product goal, we'll chart a course from the big, inspiring vision of your platform to the concrete, actionable goals that drive your team's daily work. We'll explore what a compelling platform as a product vision looks like, dive into proven frameworks for creating it, and then, most importantly, learn how to break that grand vision down into smaller, manageable, and measurable goals. So, grab your compass and let's get started. You can do anything, but not everything. This quote from David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done, reminds us that while we have the potential to achieve anything, we can't achieve everything simultaneously. It's about making choices and focusing our energy on the most impactful goals. In the context of platform engineering, this means prioritizing the features and capabilities that will deliver the most value to your developers and the business, rather than trying to build everything at once. Instead of diving straight into another quote, let's take a moment to reflect on the previous point. How often do we find ourselves trying to do everything at once, only to end up feeling overwhelmed and unproductive? It's a common trap, but one that we can avoid by setting a clear direction. Now, back to the quote by Roy Blount Jr., which emphasizes that the north is a direction, not a specific destination. Similarly, vision is a guiding direction, not a smart goal with all the details figured out. It's about setting a course for the future, allowing for flexibility and adaptation along the way. And there's a difference between a product vision and a product goal. The product vision is the tower viewer, looking far into the future, while the product goal is a closer target, guiding the team's actions in the medium term. It's about aligning the team's daily efforts with the overarching vision, ensuring that every step contributes to the bigger picture. Think big vision, act small goals. This graphic from the Evidence-Based Management EBM guide illustrates the 3 goal horizons that can help a product owner navigate the product landscape. Think of them as tactical, intermediate, and strategic goals. The strategic goal is your North Star, the vision. But how do you get there? Well, the EBM guide suggests an iterative approach, experimenting, inspecting, and adapting to reach those goals. This is where the immediate tactical goal comes in. It's the focus of your current sprint or iteration, something achievable in the short term. You form a hypothesis, experiment, measure the results, inspect what you've learned, and adapt your approach accordingly. It's here that agile ways of working shine, allowing you to incrementally deliver value and make progress towards your larger goals, adjusting as you go. It's all about reaching strategic goals together, step by step. A lean value tree, LVT, is a great tool for visualizing and breaking down your strategy. It starts with your vision, that lofty, inspiring statement. But how do you make that vision a reality? That's where the LVT comes in. Beneath the vision, you have your goals. What specifically needs to be achieved to realize that vision? Then, for each goal, you define bets. These are your hypotheses about what will drive progress towards that goal. Finally, for each bet, you outline the concrete initiatives, the actual tasks you'll undertake to test your hypotheses. The key is to frame everything in terms of outcomes. What impact are you hoping to achieve? And how will you measure progress and validate success? Just like those jobs to be done we discussed in the platform as a product video. The LVT forces you to connect every action back to the overarching vision, ensuring that your team is always working towards the most impactful outcomes. Think of it as brewing the perfect strategy, drop by drop. Alright, now that we understand the importance of vision and goals, let's get practical. In this section, we'll explore the crucial step of translating that big vision into actionable goals. It's important to remember that creating a compelling vision is teamwork. It's a collaborative process that requires bringing the right people together, bouncing ideas off each other, and leading workshops to explore the possibilities. Don't try to do this in a vacuum. We'll also delve into some useful frameworks for ideation, helping you structure your thinking and create a vision that truly resonates. Creating a compelling vision starts with painting a bigger picture of the future you want to create. The text here is an example of such a vision, inspired by the evolution of DevOps, as we discussed in the first video of this series. It envisions a future where everyone is a developer in some way, and where all these developers are empowered by self-service internal developer platforms, IDPs, allowing them to focus on innovation while specialized platform teams handle operational responsibilities. It's a future where cognitive load is sustainable and delivery is accelerated. Think tower viewer and think far, think big. The showcased example of a product vision statement is not very effective due to its length and complexity. It's important to keep vision statements concise and easy to understand, capturing the essence of the desired future state in a way that resonates with everyone. Does this statement inspire you? The key to writing an effective vision statement centered on the customer's aspirational goals in 15 words or less is to focus on the impact you seek to make. Make statements convincing and effective. American Express has a great vision statement. Become essential to our customers by providing differentiated products and services to help them achieve their aspirations. Why is this a powerful example? Because it's focused on the customer, not the company. It's about helping them achieve their aspirations. And that's crucial in platform engineering too. Your customers are your developers, and your vision should focus on how you're enabling them to be more productive, innovative, and successful. The father of visions, Roman Pichler, calls the ideal product vision clear and stable. Every participant should find it easy to understand, so avoid empty phrases that don't say anything, aka bullshit. Broad and engaging. It should depict a higher picture that everyone can relate to and that inspires people to give their best to make it happen. And short and sweet, it needs to get straight to the point. Additionally, make it achievable. Although a vision should be a futuristic idea of what the product might become, set a goal that can be actually met and insightful. Craft the idea based on users' needs and motives and define the main reason behind the product's existence. Do you think the platform purpose, as described by team topologies, is compelling enough to be used as a vision statement? It's important to have a vision that not only guides the team, but also inspires and motivates them. something they can believe in and strive towards. This purpose, like the American Express statement, focuses on enabling others, in this case streamlined teams, to achieve their goals. By providing autonomy and self-service capabilities, the platform empowers them to do their best work. But can the statement itself serve as a compelling vision and truly sell the value of your platform? As we'll see in a minute, different frameworks can help us shape such a purpose into a more inspiring vision. There are various frameworks for creating vision statements out there, each with a slightly different perspective. The ease of use with these fill-in-the-blank approaches comes in helping product teams structure their thinking and ensure that their vision statement is clear, concise, and compelling. These frameworks can help you focus on customer value and align with agile principles. In a way, you can think of each filled-in framework as a potential hypothesis to test. Do our developers really want App Store convenience for internal infrastructure and services? That's something you can validate through user research and iterative development. Did you recognize the structure of one of these frameworks in your current vision statement, assuming you have one? This view introduces Geoffrey Moore's product vision template as a tool for creating a concise and compelling vision statement. It emphasizes the importance of understanding the target customer and their needs and the unique benefits of the product. It differs from other frameworks by focusing on differentiation and competitive advantage. It's all about finding your unique place in the market, or in this case, within your organization. These examples showcase how the same thing, an IDP, can be positioned in completely different ways depending on the target customer and their specific needs by using Moore's product vision template. Notice how the first statement is targeted at internal development teams who need to provision cloud resources quickly without cloud complexity. It emphasizes ease of use and speed. The second statement is for DevOps teams managing Kubernetes-based applications who need flexibility without operational burden. It focuses on integration and reduced overhead. And the third statement is aimed at product teams who need a unified platform experience to ship software efficiently, highlighting curated workflows and deep integration with internal tooling. The key takeaway here is that your vision statement, and therefore your product goals, need to be tailored to your specific audience and their unique challenges. What changes do you need to be able to convince your stakeholders? More on this stakeholder perspective later. This product vision board by Roman Pickler captures the whole concept of the product, covering key topics for vision formulation: target audience, customer needs, product attributes, and business goals. If you are familiar with the business model canvas or the lean canvas, you'll notice similarities. While the product vision board prioritizes the user, the BMC brings broader business considerations, and the lean canvas focuses on riskiest assumptions. These models strengthen each other. A defined target from the PVB informs the customer segment on the BMC/lean canvas, which can then enforce research and economic viability. It's not a static one-time exercise. Treat all of these models like living documents, constantly evolving as you learn and adapt. Revisit the product vision board anytime change becomes necessary. Conduct further market research, user tests, and other ways of validation. Multiple things might change here, and keep everybody up to date on the current state of the vision. This quote by David Ogilvy, "If it doesn't sell, it isn't creative," reminds us that even the most innovative ideas need to be marketable and compelling. So, how can we make our platform vision truly sell? One fun and effective technique is the product box innovation game. Imagine you're designing the packaging for your platform. What would it look like? What key features would you highlight? What catchy slogan would you use? This exercise forces you to distill the essence of your platform into a concise and compelling message. Also, it's really important to come up with a good product name. Why? A great name can capture the imagination, create a sense of identity, and make your platform more memorable. A bad name, on the other hand, can create confusion and undermine your efforts. Remember, think like a marketer and make your vision sell itself. So, you've crafted a powerful vision statement. Now what? It's time to turn that dream into reality. And as Napoleon Hill said, a goal is a dream with a deadline. Let's move on to the product goal. Crafting a product goal is about bringing focus and action to that vision. And to get there, it has to be strategic. It should describe the desired future state of the product, tying directly back to the overall vision. Focused. It needs to be specific. Why are we unwilling to postpone this? Why are we willing to accept this challenge over others? Empirical. It needs to support empiricism. What's the most important thing we need to learn first? Or what's the least amount of work needed to learn this? Measurable outcomes. What problems need to be solved? How will it add value? How will we know when we have reached the goal and what's the deadline? Interestingly, there are many frameworks for creating vision statements, but surprisingly few for crafting product goals. After setting the product goal, start working on a product roadmap and create a product backlog to define what will fulfill the product goal. Okay, it's time for the fun part. Now, we'll start a search for suitable candidates for your IDP product goal. We'll explore different potential focus areas from various stakeholder perspectives. We'll analyze the pros and cons, ultimately helping you choose the goal that best aligns with your organization's needs and priorities. Cue the dramatic music. This slide reiterates the platform purpose from team topologies. Enable stream-aligned teams to deliver work autonomously with self-service capabilities. Think of it like a platform mantra. In order to reduce extraneous cognitive load on stream-aligned teams. Combined, it's a single purpose statement. Now, you might think, great, that's our product goal. But hold on. A purpose statement is directional. It's not a goal on its own. It informs your product goal, but it needs to be more specific, more measurable, and more focused. What specific aspect of extraneous cognitive load are you targeting? And how will you measure your progress? That's what transforms a purpose into a true product goal. Team Topologies also highlights these three key platform characteristics: reliable, fit for purpose, and focused on DevX. Could one of these be the foundation for a product goal? Absolutely. Each of these characteristics represents a valuable area of focus for your platform team. The key is to drill down and define specifically what reliable, fit for purpose, or DevX focused means in your context. Let's take reliable platform as an example. Team Topologies lists several elements that contribute to reliability: on-call support, service status pages, suitable comms channels, response time for incidents, and planned and announced downtime. How could we turn this into a product goal? Instead of focusing on a service status page, let's phrase it as a jobs to be done styled need. When our platform has downtime, planned or unplanned, I want to provide developers with insights into the current status in an intuitive way. That is already way more concrete than reliable platform. We can continue with such a product goal by first making the service status page visible on the developer portal, and then try to automate as much as possible. Connect it with the monitoring system, connect downtime announcements with Slack channels, etc. See how that goal has body and can shape the product backlog. What about fit for purpose platform? Team topologies suggests prototyping, fast regular feedback, agile practices, fewer services with higher quality, and skilled product management. Let's say you want to focus on fast regular feedback. A product goal could be have a clearly defined feedback loop, for example surveys, user interviews, usage metrics, with stream-aligned teams for all platform services by the end of Q2, as measured by our platform service catalog. This goal is measurable, achievable, and directly addresses the need for regular feedback to ensure the platform remains fit for purpose. And finally, a DevX-focused platform. Here, team topologies emphasizes speaking the same language and providing the right level of abstractions for your engineering teams today. Let's say you discover that a common pain point is the level of abstraction for different platform services. A product goal could be have sensible defaults in place for all platform services. In line with opinionated but sensible TVP principle, this product goal enforces a more user-friendly platform experience by lowering the amount of entry-level parameters to configure. What other options do we have to transform this more general DevX-focused platform goal to something specific for your organization? Perhaps you are thinking that all the answers from the previous slide are listed here: enhancing developer experience, empowering productivity, facilitating smooth collaboration, accelerating release velocity, ensuring robust security, enabling seamless scalability, and optimizing operational efficiency. Why not strive for all of these benefits? An IDP could have all of these benefits, but it's crucial to remember that you can do anything but not everything quote from earlier. Trying to tackle all of these benefits at once is a recipe for disaster. Focus is key. You need a specific intermediate product goal that aligns with your overall vision but is achievable in a reasonable time frame. Think back to that lean value tree. This slide highlights the power of linking your product goals to broader business objectives. Each technical implementation should directly support a key business driver, whether it's minimizing mistakes, increasing velocity, improving products, enforcing compliance, or reducing lock-in. By explicitly connecting your platform efforts to these objectives, you make a stronger case for investment and ensure that your work is aligned with the overall goals of the organization. Are those objectives applicable to your company? We'll see in the next slide that cost optimization and talent retention can also be significant business objectives. This graphic from Gartner's top strategic technology trends showcases how platform engineering aligns with critical business goals. Gartner noted that forward-thinking companies have begun to build operating platforms that sit between the user and the backing services on which they rely. They also predict that by 2026, 80% of software engineering organizations will establish platform teams as internal providers of reusable services, components, and tools for application delivery. You see, Gartner directly connects platform engineering as a technology trend to the business goals, creating secure foundations, attracting and retaining talent, and accelerating digital transformation. So, how does this help us move from vision to product goal? By understanding the business imperative behind your platform vision, you can prioritize and select a product goal that drives the most significant business value while still resonating with your developers. Are you primarily building a platform to accelerate digital transformation, or are you aiming to create more secure foundations? This informs your product goal and the metrics you'll use to measure success. Internal developer platforms aren't just for developers. They offer benefits to the entire organization. As promised earlier, let's take a deeper look at the stakeholder perspective. This image highlights some of the key stakeholders and their respective interests. Think about it from the perspective of your CIO. they're likely focused on slashing lead time and time to market. For finance, it's all about saving cloud costs. Operations wants to drive automation, while the CISO is focused on compliance by design. Application developers are clamoring for self-service and speed, and architects are driving standardization. And what about HR? Human resources wants to attract and retain talent. Dr. Nicole Forsgren nailed it. It is well known that software engineers don't leave jobs, they leave managers, but they also leave systems. Building a great platform can directly contribute to talent retention. From this perspective, you can see the many different directions you could take your product goal. Let your stakeholders be your guide. Knowing their needs is already half of the work. Alright, after careful deliberation and considering all the business objectives and stakeholder perspectives, we've narrowed down our nominees for the product goal top spot. And the nominees are: for enabling fast flow, for significantly reducing cognitive load, for proactively enhancing security. These three emerged as the most promising based on our exploration of aligning technical mechanisms with overarching business goals. As we saw, these are all strongly related and important in the whole platform engineering context, but it's only an example. In your situation, you may get other nominees. Let's take a closer look at each of these contenders. So, why is fast flow a strong contender? In our previous videos, we emphasized the importance of developer velocity. Team Topologies perfectly summarizes the importance of developer velocity and state that the platform acts as an engine for fast flow by increasing capacity and speed of engineering teams. Fast flow equals faster value delivery and a competitive edge. By optimizing the platform to enable teams to release software more quickly and efficiently, we directly impact the bottom line. And the faster you go, the sooner you get the opportunity to get that valuable feedback. It's important to acknowledge that many obstacles to fast flow exist at the organizational level. Things like teams being pulled in many directions, confusing organizational design options, and painful reorganizations every few years. However, there are definitely plenty of areas where an IDP can help to improve flow. By streamlining deployment processes, automating infrastructure provisioning, and providing self-service capabilities, an IDP can directly address issues like blocked flow and disengaged teams. A well-designed IDP clears the path for continuous delivery. Just how much impact does flow have on developer effectiveness? Let's consider two hypothetical scenarios: a day in the life in a low effective environment versus a day in the life in a highly effective environment. In the first scenario, the developer is constantly interrupted, battling alerts, waiting on responses, and struggling with broken processes. The end result? Frustration and low motivation. In the second, highly effective scenario, the developer has a clear focus: automated processes, easy access to documentation, and minimal interruptions. The result? Incremental progress and a happy developer. Which scenario sounds more appealing? Which day do you think is most valuable for both the organization and the developer? Do you recognize one of the two situations? The contrast is stark, and it highlights the direct link between flow and developer effectiveness. To truly optimize flow, we need to focus on what Tim Cochran calls micro-feedback loops. These are the small, repetitive tasks that developers perform dozens, even hundreds of times a day. These are things like running a unit test, seeing a code change reflected in your local environment, or refreshing data. Even seemingly minor improvements to these micro-feedback loops can have a huge cumulative impact on developer productivity and flow. These micro improvements can have big impact. Can you already picture some micro-feedback loops to improve in your current working environment? By focusing on optimizing these small, often overlooked tasks, we can unlock significant gains in developer velocity and overall effectiveness. Cognitive load reduction is the backbone of a successful platform, as I told you many times throughout my videos. Team topologies perfectly summarizes a valuable platform reduces the cognitive load of stream-aligned teams. By simplifying processes, automating repetitive tasks, and providing easy access to essential resources, a platform can significantly decrease the mental effort required for developers to do their jobs. While I keep talking about cognitive load, it's important to note that DevX is more than just that. Dr. Nicole Forsgren explains the 3 dimensions of developer experience. Fast feedback loops. The sooner we get actionable feedback, the better our ability to act on it. This comes from setting up efficient development environments, optimizing build and test processes, and reducing wait times from manual handoffs. A flow state. We achieve this joyful state of work when we can perform our task without interruptions. Too many meetings and chat messages, and there goes your flow state. Reduced cognitive load. It's unproductive to keep heaps of knowledge in our working memories. The lower the cognitive load, the easier it is for any technologist to build software. We lower this cognitive load by making information easy to access and creating the right level of abstractions, and by organizing teams, code and documentation such that it feels intuitive to the team. In the modern ops landscape that we explained in the DevOps Evolution video, reducing cognitive load is the bedrock for better developer experience. This slide showcases the 7 pillars of a good developer experience, according to Mogenius: tool usability, performance, support, resources, integration, feedback loops, debugging, and tooling consistency. An IDP can absolutely contribute to many of these aspects of DevX, but are these pillars substantial enough to form the basis of a product goal? Perhaps. However, I would argue that these are often too granular for a product goal. The problem descriptions are clear, so they might be more like sprint goal material. Remember to keep that North Star, strategic goal, in sight. To truly tackle cognitive load, we need to understand that it's not a monolithic entity. Team topologies breaks it down into 3 distinct types. Intrinsic cognitive load. This relates to the inherent complexity of the task itself, the core skills and knowledge required. For example, knowing the structure of a Java class or how to create a new method. Extraneous cognitive load. This stems from the environment and processes surrounding the task, things like deployment procedures, configuration settings, and tooling. Think, how do I deploy this component again? Or, how do I configure this service? Germane cognitive load. This is the cognitive effort dedicated to learning and high-performance problem solving, the value-add thinking. For example, understanding how a service should interact with another, or grappling with the intricacies of the business domain. The intrinsic cognitive load for a web application developer could be the knowledge of the computer language being used, on top of the fundamentals of programming. The extraneous cognitive load might be details of the commands needed to instantiate a dynamic testing environment, which needs multiple, hard-to-remember console commands. And the germane cognitive load could be the specific aspects of the business domain that the application developer is programming, such as an invoicing system or a video processing algorithm. So, what's the ideal way to manage these different types of cognitive load? First, minimize intrinsic cognitive load through training, good technology choices, and strategic hiring. Then, eliminate extraneous cognitive load altogether by automating away boring or superfluous tasks and commands. This leaves more space for germane cognitive load, which is where the value-add thinking lies. Remember the value line framework? By shifting the cognitive load From the extraneous to the germane, you are essentially freeing up developers to spend more time above the value line, focusing on the activities that directly contribute to customer value. That's where the magic happens. We'll come back to that value line again a bit later. Let's move on to the final nominee, security. Security is essential, but it needs to be treated as an enabler, not a blocker. By baking in organizational security standards into the platform, compliance as code, and enabling the platform team to stay on top of new security strategies, practices, tools, frameworks, and threats, we can build secure foundations without overwhelming developers. The security team is the source of knowledge here. They are the enabling team. This visual emphasizes that while the security team acts as an enabling team, providing guidance and expertise, there's still a significant amount of security-related responsibilities for product teams. From vulnerability checking and secure code analysis to authentication and secrets management, developers can no longer claim to be blissfully ignorant about security. Let's see how a platform can help here. Security is everywhere and still complex to set up and control in a cloud-native world. A pure shift-left approach to DevSecOps can create a cognitive overload for developers. As Kelsey Hightower famously said, "I think we are asking developers to do too much by shifting everything left, including security. While it should be a collective effort, the idea that developers need to become security experts in addition to everything else just isn't sustainable." Here's a message for your Chief Information Security Officer. Platform engineering loves security. Your platform can abstract and standardize most of it. So, shift down to your platform, not left to your developers. Platform engineering teams can embed governance and scalable security controls within the infrastructure, freeing developers to focus on code and business value instead of being an afterthought or a blocker for developer productivity. A platform with organizational standards built in can offload product teams significantly by offering compliance and security as code. Instead of expecting developers to become security experts, the platform provides secure by default infrastructure and automated compliance checks. Now you see compliance as code appearing. Does this image look familiar? You might recognize it from the DevOps Evolution video. As we discussed, a dedicated platform team serves as the central hub, coordinating across critical functions such as security and compliance. This visual perfectly illustrates the power of a well-designed platform. It not only provides cognitive offloading from a knowledge perspective, but also reduces the number of interactions required. By centralizing security and compliance checks within the platform, we minimize the number of queries directed at individual product teams, streamlining workflows and freeing up valuable time. The 2024 State of DevOps report confirms that security is a major trend in platform engineering. The report states, "The biggest takeaway from our survey this year surprised us. Not only are platform engineering teams supporting security and compliance efforts, but they are tackling and troubleshooting issues around security in a way that suggests this is going to be a much larger trend. Even when security isn't your primary driver and product goal, it's definitely a topic that cannot be ignored. It might not win the top spot today, but it is most definitely a force to be reckoned with." Alright, the moment you've all been waiting for. After considering the potential impact, alignment with our vision, and overall strategic value, it's time to announce the winning product goal topic. And the winners are: in third place, for its essential contribution to a secure and reliable platform, security. In second place, for its direct impact on value delivery and business outcomes, fast flow, and taking the top spot for its fundamental role in improving developer experience, cognitive load reduction. However, it's important to remember that this is just an example. The key takeaway here is to prioritize based on a balanced and well thought out understanding of your specific context and business needs. And of course, you can only have one product goal at a time, the most strategic one to start with. Let's find out why I've put cognitive load reduction in this leading position. As Armand Dadgar visualizes here, an IDP provides consistency, which splits into cost and risk on the ops side and velocity on the dev side. Let's call velocity option A and consistency option B. Now, based on our previous video about the DevOps evolution and how platform engineering's purpose is to reduce cognitive load, it makes sense to focus a product goal on the developer side of the IDP. Option A, velocity. Cognitive load reduction is a foundational principle, and cognitive load reduction is an engine for fast flow. But fast flow also helps to reduce cognitive load and improve DevX in general. So, which one comes first? Well, that focus also depends on the type of organization. Do you value a better flow of work more or the human factor? Although they go hand in hand, I subjectively value happiness over productivity here. Another reason for not putting security in that leading position is because, as we discussed in the platform as a product video, platforms are optional to use. Even though security standards built in should be a UDP, reality is often that it's seen as a burden. With the opinionated but sensible TVP principle, organizational standards are built in as a convention for things like security and compliance, while offering sensible but adjustable defaults. We're linking consistency, option B, with velocity, option A. So, we've talked about crafting visions and goals, and we've even chosen a winning product goal topic. But setting a goal, truly committing to a direction, has implications. As the dictionary says, an implication is the conclusion that can be drawn from something, although it is not explicitly stated. Let's take a quick look at how the product goal fits into the Scrum framework. As the Scrum Guide states, a Scrum team is focused on one objective at a time, the product goal. The product goal provides a long-term objective and describes a future state of the product that the team can plan against. But honestly, isn't the concept of having a clear, focused objective something valuable regardless of whether you're using Scrum or not? For those of you familiar with Scrum, you know that the product goal is like the cornerstone of Scrum events and artifacts. It's reinstated in sprint planning, it shapes the product backlog, each increment should contribute to it, and progress is discussed in the sprint review. How often are the product vision and or product goal reinstated during your development cycle? Strategy is figuring out what not to do. This quote from Steve Jobs gets straight to the heart of strategy. Vision and product goals should be the basis that guides decisions and helps prioritize features or tasks. Does this feature contribute to the goal? If not, channel your energy into activities that truly matter. Saying no is tough, but it's essential. So ask yourself, is our backlog a true reflection of a clear direction aligned with our product goal? Mark Zuckerberg reminds us, I'm here to build something for the long term. Anything else is a distraction. This highlights the importance of avoiding distractions and constantly asking if you're spending your time well. If something is a distraction from the product goal, saying no helps you to stay focused on the most impactful activities and prevents your goals from remaining unachieved. In terms of the EBM model we discussed earlier, it all needs to align. Are our sprint goals the next logical step towards achieving our product goal? Richard L. Evans puts it perfectly. Your direction is more important than your speed. This video and product goal setting in general is all about direction. Building the things right is important, but only if we're building the right things in the first place. In product management terms, it's a shift in focus from delivery to discovery. And as we emphasized in the platform as a product video, building a successful platform requires continuous discovery and feedback. So, are we ready for that shift in focus? Okay, so you've crafted a compelling vision and defined a strategic product goal. But that's only half the battle. Now, you need to ensure that everyone understands and buys into that vision. That's where effective communication comes in. You may not have a big hall like this, but the message is clear. You need to actively and repeatedly communicate the product vision and product goal to everyone involved in the development process. Stakeholders must know the direction in which you are heading, and that knowledge gives them confidence. Share the vision and goal in any form: presentations, boards, posters, one-on-one meetings, and so on. And repeat, repeat, repeat. Start every sprint planning, every sprint review with reinstating the product vision and product goal. A powerful way to communicate your vision is with metrics. They are far more than just numbers. Data is a communication tool, as Nicole Forsgren highlights here. The data provides opportunities to clarify and define what those metrics even are. A shared language between teams, enabling effective collaboration and alignment. And data-informed insights, moving teams away from relying solely on intuition and towards a more objective understanding. Without a clear product vision and goal, the product owner is like a tugboat, painstakingly pulling each ship, your development teams, individually. Instead, your product vision is a lighthouse, providing a clear and constant beacon, and your product goal as a clearly mapped course. Your ships can then navigate safely and efficiently on their own. This also frees the product owner or product manager to operate at a more strategic, macro level, ensuring the platform is aligned with the overall business objectives. What does this mean in terms of communication? It means that your role isn't just about giving directions, the what and how, but giving direction, the why. Simon Sinek captures this perfectly. There is a difference between giving directions and giving direction. One more thing. We've talked a lot about visions, goals, and all the wonderful things a platform can do for developers. But there's an important foundational element we haven't really addressed yet. Platform engineering is not just for the cloud. In fact, on-prem environments often need self-service and automation even more than cloud environments. But the reality is, moving towards an API-driven, automatable infrastructure with simple and powerful container management can be a huge challenge when you're starting with legacy on-prem systems. So, how do you get there? To create an IDP, we build it upon underlying infrastructure layers. If those IDPs consist of reusable components, building blocks, glued together into golden paths, then that IDP needs those infrastructure building blocks to come in an automated way, as infrastructure as a service, IaaS. And that's not self-evident in an on-premise infrastructure setting. So, fix the infra first. Footnote: fix the infra first primarily refers to automating technical provisioning. However, a platform can also start as something simpler, like a well-organized wiki with documented standards and best practices. This is what Evan Botcher calls the superficial private cloud. Something like cloud, but really just old-fashioned IT operations with a thin veneer of automation. Take a look at this workflow. What's happening here? It's ticket ops. Work being delegated from team to team. The manual work and this backlog coupling, dependencies across work queues, is creating those long lead times that are unacceptable in today's software environment. A key point of platform engineering is to unblock infrastructure provisioning. And that means treating your on-prem environment as an internal cloud with IaaS capabilities. In Team Topology's language, it's about moving away from blocking dependencies based on work handovers and towards non-blocking dependencies based on growing capabilities. It's important to be realistic about where you are. Unrealistic product goals can lead to frustration and disappointment. That's why, in many cases, it's better to focus on fixing that IaaS layer first, even if that means setting an intermediate product goal that's not about golden paths yet. For example, instead of immediately striving for full IDP functionality, you might focus on empowering DevOps teams with a unified self-service platform that delivers reusable building blocks as a service, has organizational standards built in, and provides actionable insights. And as we discussed in the IDP and Platform as a Product videos, clear vocabulary and visualizations like Quatix promises can help with scoping and communicating your product goals in a realistic and actionable way. Remember the value line framework we talked about earlier, and in the Platform as a Product video? Well, your platform team eventually wants to focus on the core, like that floating platform concept of Gregor Hopper we discussed before. But even with the best intentions, the infrastructure, which represents context from your team's perspective, simply cannot be ignored. It underpins everything. Expanding on that thought, let's look at the relationship between the three aforementioned layers of infrastructure, platforms, and applications. In fact, there are two value lines here. From a core context perspective, it would make sense if the platform team didn't have to focus on the infrastructural building blocks because they're context for them. And in a public cloud setting, that's often the case. The cloud provider handles the underlying infrastructure. However, in on-prem scenarios, you face some critical decisions. Option 1, create a brand new platform team. This requires that you also have a capable infrastructure team already operating at an IaaS level, providing the foundational building blocks. Pros: clear separation of concerns, dedicated focus on platform user needs. Cons: require significant budget for a new team, can be a steep learning curve, and the new platform team needs to build trust and credibility quickly. It can also highlight the cognitive load for existing developers. Option 2, have the existing infrastructure team move up the stack and take on platform responsibilities. Pros: leverages existing expertise and infrastructure knowledge, potentially more budget friendly. Cons: can create a massive cognitive load for the existing team. Crucially, many ops engineers lack the product management skills or SDLC understanding to build a truly user-centric platform. They may also prioritize consistency. Option B from before. The key takeaway here is that the combined infrastructure and platform responsibility for a single team can create a new cognitive bottleneck. Remember, you can reassign cognitive load, but you can't eliminate it. Which of the aforementioned options would you choose? I'm curious to hear your view here. Wow, you've made it to the end. Thank you for watching. Let's recap the key takeaways. A clear vision and product goal is key to success. Don't try to do everything at once. Focus on the most impactful business goals. Communicate your vision clearly and constantly. And remember, in on-prem environments, fix the infrastructure first. I hope you found this session insightful and engaging. Be sure to check out my next video, Professional Development, Roles in a Platform Engineering Product Team, where we'll dive into the organizational side of platform engineering. See you there. Thank you for sticking around to the end. The remainder of this video contains an overview of all resources used. There's some great stuff out there, often with references to even more great stuff. Are you ready to go down this rabbit hole?